If you're looking to register your company in the UK, either as a UK resident or a non-UK resident, or indeed you already have an existing UK company that has been registered, then you will need to listen to the content of this video till the very end, as not being aware of the changes that have been made and will come into effect later this year could potentially lead to your company being struck off. Recently, an announcement was made by Companies House a couple of days ago regarding new rules which will actually come into effect from March this year. This is as part of the Economic Crime and Corporate Transparency Act. Now, basically, as part of this new enforcement, we are going to see new responsibilities for anyone who is an existing or a new company director, anyone within a company who has significant control, and also anyone who actually files, accounts and things like that on behalf of a UK company. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you the changes that were announced, as well as the potential impact, for anyone who already has a UK company registered, or indeed anyone who is looking to register a UK company. Hello, if you're new here, my name is Tess and I'm a UK qualified accountant, and on this channel I share useful videos to help those who are looking to start and grow their businesses here in the UK. If you ever want to work with me on a one-to-one basis, then please use the link in the description box below. First of all, let's go over some of the key changes that have actually been announced and will come into effect from March this year. So one of the changes includes that we will see greater powers to actually query information and request supporting evidence. So this is by Companies House. Companies House will actually now have greater powers to actually be able to question any information that you provide as part of registering your UK company. And they will also have the power to request for any supporting evidence where they feel that it might be necessary to do so. There will also be stronger checks on company names. There will also be new rules for registered office addresses. We will touch on this a little bit more in detail later on in the video. Alongside that, they're also saying that there will be a requirement for all companies to supply a registered email address. Again, I will touch on this later in the video. There will also be a requirement for all companies to confirm they are forming the company for a lawful purpose when they incorporate it, and to also confirm that the intended future activities will be lawful on their confirmation statement. I feel like this is all part and parcel of the need to actually improve transparency around new companies that are being registered, but we'll touch on this a little bit later. They've also stated here that the ability to annotate the register when information appears confusing or misleading. Now, in my view, this basically means that Companies House are in a short way saying that where they feel that the information regarding that company is misleading, they will have the powers to basically make amendment to it. Part of those amendments I will talk about later in this video, but it is something to be watchful of so that you are clear on what to do. They will also be taking steps to clean up the register using data matching to identify and remove inaccurate information. Again, re-emphasizing the need for you to make sure that if they do query you on any existing information on your company so far, then you have to provide them with the relevant detail and ensure it's obviously accurate. Otherwise, there will be ramifications for that. They will also be sharing data with other government departments and law enforcement agencies. Now, this is not really new. A lot of UK government agencies do tend to liaise and speak with each other and share information, but I guess with this new act they are just probably getting more powers to be able to do so a lot more than they had in the past. So let's talk about what the impact of all of this new announcement actually means for you who is thinking of registering a new UK company, or indeed if you already have an existing UK company. So as part of these changes, the first thing you're going to want to do is to make sure that you are clear on what the changes are around a registered business address. Now, I've done some more reading around this, and there's some documentation which basically states that Companies House are now looking for business owners, company directors to actually put what they are calling an appropriate business address. Now, by their definition, an appropriate business address is basically an address where they can send you letters, and those letters can be received by someone who is acting on behalf of the company. And if that is not possible, then at least whatever letters and documentations they send to that address should be able to be acknowledged, okay, by recorded delivery of some sort. Basically, this means that you will no longer be able to use a PO box as your registered office address, okay, from the 4th of March 2024. And if you are in a situation where you're currently using a PO box as your registered office or business address, then you will need to have it changed, okay? So do be aware of this and make sure that you're putting in place the relevant steps and actions to ensure that you can accommodate these changes. Now, some of you might be wondering whether you can still use a third-party address, and Companies House are saying that yes, you can actually still use a third-party address provided the address actually meets these conditions that they are stipulating that it needs to meet. And what happens if you actually don't have what Companies House are referring to as an appropriate registered office address? Now, what Companies House are saying is that if you don't have what they are referring to as an appropriate registered office address, then your company could potentially be struck off the register. They've also said that where they identify that a company does not have what they are calling an appropriate registered office address, then what they're going to do is they are going to communicate with you as the company director, okay, and they're going to give you a period of 28 days to provide them with an appropriate registered office address. Otherwise, if they don't receive it within that 28 days, then they will start the process of actually striking off the company off Companies House register entirely. And the next thing you want to take away from this video is the change around registered email addresses. Now, if you're someone who is going to be registering your company for the first time, then from 4th of March 2024, you are going to have to provide what Companies House are referring to as a registered email address as part of actually registering that new UK company. However, if you're someone who has an existing UK company already, then you will need to change your email address to what they're calling a registered email address at your next filing of your confirmation statement. So this registered email address is basically the email address that Companies House are going to use to write to you or correspond to you regarding any changes on your company. So it is important that you keep hold of this particular email address. They've also stated that this email address can also be used for other companies. Okay, so if you're someone who owns more than one company, for instance, you are a company director on various different companies, then you can potentially use that same registered email address for all those companies. Very important to be aware that Companies House are actually saying that if you fail to maintain this registered email address, then you will actually be committing an offense against the law. Another thing you want to make sure you pay attention to as part of these changes is where they've actually stated a confirmation of lawful purpose. Okay, so this basically means that from the 4th of March 2024, anyone who is looking to register a company, the shareholders of that company are going to need to confirm to Companies House as part of a statement actually saying and confirming that they are forming that company for lawful purposes, okay? The intended future activities of that company are actually on a lawful basis. If you fail to do this, then they will actually be able to decline being able to register your company. They've also stated that as part of this, if they actually do an investigation and find out that the activities of your company are actually on an unlawful basis, then they have the right to actually take legal action against that company. So there's been a lot mentioned as part of the upcoming changes to UK company registration. Please do make sure you take some time to actually digest the information and be clear on what your duties are ongoing as a UK company director. Please do make sure you leave some comments in the comment section below on anything you're not sure of, and I will do my best to do some clarifications around those points. If you're looking for more videos on how to actually get started with registering your UK company, then please do make sure you watch this selection of videos right here. If you haven't already done so, please give this video a big like. It will really go a long way to sharing this video with other people who might need to see this information. And don't forget to subscribe and turn on your notification bells. I will see you in the very next video.